with our society that is so legal based now, pretty much, medical professionals are instructed to give you worst case scenarios about
Correct.
everything to cover their own butts. And they don't, again, it's not what the word says, it's like, we know what the will of God is, and we don't need to speak any kind of worst case scenario. We don't need to speak negative over this stuff.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Okay, so we are back. We may have some very serious conversations about schedules and sports and personalities and everything else that's been going on in our life. And you know what? It is nice to have it be springtime, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful out right now. It's just gorgeous.
Mid-March, one of the best times around here. It's like 60 degrees every day. You still have snow-capped mountains. March Madness is going right now, which is amazing. And But my did I tell you my extra winter weight? It's finally gone. Did you know that? Now I have spring rolls.
You're silly. You have spring rolls. You've been waiting for that one.
You couldn't even not laugh.
You don't even like Chinese food.
Okay. By the way, do you know when a dad joke becomes a dad joke?
When you're a dad.
When it becomes apparent.
Oh gosh.
All right.
It's been a while since you.
I know. I've had 3 of these episodes. We haven't done these yet.
What was that for?
Huh? Well, it was to wrap up to my jokes.
Oh.
Yeah. Wait, wrong button. No, that's not it either. This is the one I was actually looking for. Thank you, everyone. All right.
Gosh. Let's take it on the road, babe.
Well, another thing that's been going on in the midst of all of this stuff is, we had kind of a unexpected, unique thing that we had to handle. Hunter had a procedure she had to go through, right, at the hospital. And so it required some new things that she's never dealt with. And, like she had to fast for 24 hours. And then she had to experience like a hospital stay and actually being, sedated and things like that. So you want to talk about that scenario a little bit about how, again, this is really kind of relating a lot to communication, how to prep intentionally for a family to work together, all the work that goes in behind the scenes to make it all come together, right? So you want to talk about it?
Yeah, we've just been dealing, I think, again, everybody can probably relate, sometimes you just are dealing with stuff in the midst of everything else on your plate, right? And we've just been dealing with the scenario with Hunter for a couple months, and it, came to a point where we needed to go and get a procedure done for her. And, it took a lot of, time to figure out what was the best strategy for us. A lot of communication with you and me and the right people that we trusted to move forward with this. And it wasn't, a light decision. So we finally decided it was time to do this procedure. And with it, first of all, Hunter's 5. So let's just, put it out there that she's young. She's super young. She just hasn't obviously been around this kind of stuff. Thank you, Jesus. We have a very healthy family, and we have not had to deal with a lot of health challenges for our kids in any capacity. And so with this procedure, it did, like you said, she had to fast for 24 hours. And what happened was she was able to eat, I think, breakfast the other day. Until like 9 o'clock or something like that. So, our family worked as a team. We kind of talked with the kids and said, because of this procedure, this is what needs to happen. After 9 a.m., she's not allowed to eat anything. Could everybody make a decision that we'll get up and have a big family breakfast? Yep. And we'll make her favorite meal, and we'll make a variety of things, and people can just have like a smorgasbord of yumminess, and we can make it fun for her. And they were all like, sounds like a blast. Let's do that, because our kids are just such team players. When one of us needs help in any way, let's all just jump in, whatever that looks like. And I said, great. And then after breakfast, though, she can't eat the rest of the day. I said, so I would love to distract her by taking her to the park and for coloring, and let's do some reading with her and, watch a few of our favorite movies and have some quality time with her throughout the day. And if she asks for anything to eat, let's distract her. I mean, I'll keep reminding her of it, but let's just keep distracting her. And the kids were like, not a problem. So, Mom, how can we help you best is what they said. I said, well, I'll take her to the park for about an hour and a half or so. At that point, you guys can eat lunch. And then I want everything cleaned up, like make sure it doesn't smell like food when we walk in, because she's going to be hungry by the afternoon, you know. Kids said, not a problem. In fact, Mom, that'd be great. We'll do that. We'll clean everything up. And later that evening, we'll all just not eat. If she can't eat, we won't eat.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is really cool, guys, for bringing that up. I didn't ask them to do that. They decided that. And so they did. They literally ate, did their thing, and left for sports, right? Shortly after that, her and I were running errands and doing our thing. And when they came home, everyone jumped in. They had to read with her and play dolls with her and do puzzles with her. And she did. She kept asking for food. And they kept saying, it's okay, let's go over here and do this. Or, hey, would you like a glass of juice instead? Or, whatever the case may be. And they were just such team players, and I loved it. And so needless to say, that evening, everyone went to bed probably hungry. Like even our sweet kids, they played sports and everything. They didn't eat the rest of the evening. You know what I mean? So they were hungry, and her and I had to leave for the procedure early the next morning. And of course, everybody had already prayed over her the night before. We knew everything was going to go well. We were very confident in our decision and what we were doing. So, it's in God's hands now. Let's keep moving type thing. Let's just walk it out now. The next morning, they got up after Hunter and I left to go to the hospital. And I will just tell you, I was really proud of our sweet girl because, she's in the car ride and she's nervous. I explained what I could of the process without trying to scare her in any capacity. But she didn't know what to expect. And honestly, I didn't fully know what to expect. I had asked as many questions as possible, but you just don't know until you're there, right? But we got there, we checked in, and we're kind of waiting in the waiting area for them to call her name. And, if you've ever been in the hospital, there's a variety of people dealing with a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And for a little kid, it can be pretty scary. For an adult, it can be scary sometimes.
Yeah,
people are dealing with stuff that are, real health challenges that are scary. So I'm trying to distract Hunter the whole time. And, I'm just praying and thanking God for, us moving through this quickly without any real issues. And we had some prayer warriors around us too that morning doing the same exact thing, which was awesome. It felt peaceful. But, we're in the waiting room. I'm trying to distract her, right? Because I don't want her to start thinking things are going to get scary for her or nerve-wracking for her or stress her out in any capacity. And they finally bring us back to like kind of the area that we're going to need to change into like, a hospital gown and do all that kind of stuff. And as we're walking, you can see in different people's rooms. You know how that goes, right? Yeah. And her little eyes are getting bigger and bigger, like what's about to happen? And so we kind of move her into the room. And at that point, I decided to close the drapes. I really just didn't want her seeing everything going on.
Right. It's so important. The thing that you told me about this, but the thing that stands out to me is just, again, it's intentionality. How does a 5-year-old view this scenario? And are you going to be their greatest protector with whatever you have to do? Whether it's just like shielding her when she's trying to look around to different sections that she probably really doesn't need to see, that'll just create more fear, and just being, distracting to her in a positive way, whether it's closing the curtain so now you get your own little space and she's just there safe with mom at the time. Like there's just so many little things. It's a lot different than just being like, oh, okay, whatever the nurses want to do, let's just do it. Right.
Right. Exactly. And again, prayed up and thank goodness we had some good nurses, but again, when they came into the room to start this whole procedure of getting her prepped to go back to the operating room, it's keeping the conversations to the point. I don't really need them to discuss certain scenarios around Hunter, you know what I mean? Because Hunter is hearing everything going on, and it was really obvious, obviously, because for them, I kept taking it in and being like, okay, I understand. Yes. Yep. I'm on board with that. I already talked to the doctor about that. I understand this. I already did my research on this, and I understood the paperwork I had to sign and what I had to do. And at one point, the anesthesiologist came in and he's going over everything he needs to go over. And he's like, can I ask you a question? I'm like, sure. He's like, are you in the medical field? And I'm like, nope, I'm a personal coach. I'm a personal development coach. I'm a business coach. I'm a mom of 6. And he's like, the way that you're handling the situation is impressive. He's like, it's very obvious you're under control with everything going on around here.
Sure.
And I'm like, thank you very much. So was there anything else you wanted to go over? Because I don't really want to discuss a lot of things with a lot of people in a situation when my whole objective is to focus on Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm coloring with her and I'm helping her with a movie and I'm, helping her out.
Right.
Well-intentioned people want to talk all day, and
Yeah.
I don't really feel like discussing anything with them other than what needs to get done.
Yeah. We don't want them going on a path like, oh, most kids would be terrified right
Correct.
now. Oh my gosh. We had this and Hunter sitting right there listening. Right?
Yeah, I don't want to hear worst case scenarios. And,
No.
And he's like, what's interesting is, when you have the Holy Spirit on you and you're just at peace with everything, he's like, we're going to take good care of her. You don't have to worry. And I'm like, I'm not worried. And it's like, I'm not worried because of what you're saying. I'm not concerned about what you're saying. I know what the answer is already. Like God's got us today. And sweet girl, though, I will tell you, I was so proud of her, honey, because, I'm trying to be as calm, but I can see things are starting to move soon. Like she's going to have to get moved into that OR room soon. And needless to say, they're trying to talk to her. They're kind of, prepping her and stuff like that. Her big crocodile tears started coming down. She looked at me and she goes,
so
Mom,
hard.
I'm really scared, and I'm like, it's okay, baby. Like nothing to be scared about. I'm here. And the worst part was I thought I could be with her until they put her to sleep, and I couldn't. And as they're wheeling her down one way, I wanted to jump on the little bed with her. I'm like, can I just be put out too? But I'm patiently and the nurses are really kind. They were so kind. They're trying to talk to her about dolls and, all kid things, right? But she was really brave and she went and the doctors that we chose were amazing. And they just came out and just bragged on how she asked for me a handful of times, of course, and tears were shed. But she told me that Hunter came out and told me they were very nice to her and that, it was, and I will just tell you, parents, if you're in a situation where you're dealing with stuff where you're nervous too, like I was nervous, you know what I mean? Like it was very obvious that I'm trying to, be calm the whole time. But I will just tell you, you need to prep yourself and get ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be on guard, be ready. Don't just let somebody else run the show for what you know is best for your child. Yeah. Be their advocate and be the best advocate for yourself and ask questions and get yourself in a position where you're protective, and then also don't allow anybody to speak negative. If anybody's bringing stuff up, be like, I'd really like to discuss this later. Or in my situation, a lot of times, we've handled different things, so I know how to handle this. But in the past, if I was in a situation where somebody would want to talk negative about maybe a situation we were in with our children, health-wise, whatever, because we started with NICU babies and all that kind of stuff way back in the day, I would literally be like, I really appreciate what you're trying to tell me. Can you pause? I would like my husband to help discuss this with us.
Yeah.
And ask for some help, because sometimes you're emotional as the mother, and you might need somebody to come in, like your husband, to come in and be like, I'd like to hear this. Can we discuss this in a more logical way and hear what's really going on?
Especially in those kind of settings, because, with our society that is so legal based now, pretty much, medical professionals are instructed to give you worst case scenarios about everything to cover their own butts. And they don't, again, it's not what the word says, it's like, we know what the will of God is, and we don't need to speak any kind of worst case scenarios. We don't need to speak negative over this stuff. So there's this balance of them feeling like they have to do their job. At the same time, we're like, we don't want you confessing any stuff over our family at all. We rebuke all of it. But to your point, there is something very special about if you have a husband, he needs to step into that protector role and handle these kind of things, and you can stay in your nurturing role, because that's where you go. I know when we're in these scenarios, it's just the way God made us, right? You get more nurturing at a different level, which is so helpful for our kids. I naturally get more protective, right? And so putting us together, we become a pretty good team, and we have to be able to do that. So,
yeah. So to wrap up kind of the whole story, I will just tell you again how our family works as a team through this whole thing. I will tell you, we really found joy, even through all this whole thing, we're still walking out some of this right now, and we're in the middle of it. But the kids have been nothing but helping make the whole experience a happy experience versus a, horrible, like nerve-wracking, like just depressive situation for us. They have just stepped up in ways. Like I said, the day before we left, obviously they were such team players, and then they were checking in throughout the day. Just, hi, how's it going? Not asking like any direct questions, just wanting to hear that we were okay. And what was really cool is on the way home when I was driving home with her, I didn't know it, but all day the kids had a party planned for her when we came home. They had welcome signs ready for her when she walked in the door. They had all her favorite treats ready for her.
They didn't even bounce it off me, anything. Like they didn't say, Dad, is this a good idea? They just did it.
They had little gifts for her. Yeah. They like had all her favorites. They even gave up some of the favorite things of their own that they know she loves, which was so cool. They all made her favorite, like, muffins and, bread and just, odds and ends that they knew she'd love to eat. They were just like, they're home. And whenever we hit the door, she was just so happy to be home with her tribe. And I was just so proud of our kids because they were just working as a team, and nobody asked them to do it. Nobody told them, nobody organized it. Nobody expected them to even do anything. And all the whole day, they were just team players with her. When she was trying to recover for stuff, they were just super gentle and kind and encouraging. Drew went up to her and told her numerous times how proud he was of her. The girls were just loving on her and preparing her little bed for her and her PJs that she picked out and all this kind of stuff. And it just goes to show that in the midst of all the craziness sometimes, like how powerful it is that you train up your children to be such support players in situations you never knew you needed them to be. Because even when I walked into the door, I was happier.
Yeah.
I came still reeling from the experience, trying to process it myself. And here's our kids making it a beautiful welcome home thing. And I just wanted to eat everybody up and love on them more.
Yeah, it's the kind of moments that you just are like, wow, all this effort we've been putting in for so long, it's like, it's really paying off. It's encouraging. So,
yeah, we have a good tribe.
Yeah, we do. Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.